So good afternoon, everyone. I formally declare open this Submissions Committee meeting of Colac Otway Shire on the 8th of May 2024. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. I note that all councillors are present and Councillor Arnott is joining us via video conference. I would like to start the afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of the land, their elders past, present, and welcome any descendants here today. Please be advised that this Submissions Committee meeting is recorded and live streamed, with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of the meeting. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in an open Submissions Committee meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. The purpose of this Submissions Committee meeting is to hear persons who indicated they wish to speak in support of their written submissions for the hearing of the flag policy submissions. Are there any declarations of interest? No declarations of interest. Then we'll move on. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the Submissions Committee meeting held on the 31st of January 2024. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hart. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Arnott, thank you. Is that to be opposed? I declare the minutes passed. Verbal submissions from those submitters who have confirmed in writing today wish to speak to their submissions will be heard prior to the consideration of the agenda item. A limit of 5 minutes will apply to each submitter. We now move on to the officer's report and item number 8.1, hearing of the flag policy submissions. And that's to hear from submitters who have requested to speak in support of their submissions to the council draft. The following submitters have requested to be heard. And again, just to remind, it's a 5 minute per submitter. We've got Sharon Faulkner, welcome Sharon, Jason, welcome Sharon, and Rod Amos and Peter Hickey on behalf of Colac RSL, welcome. Sharon, would you like to present first?
Thank you. Mayor White and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak to my submission in favour of a new flagpole policy for the Shire. I'm assuming that everyone here has read the submissions presented by all parties. If not, I've got a copy of mine here for you. My submission was self-explanatory. Therefore, I'll not repeat or read it out, but I would like to remind you that community flagpoles provide opportunities for council to demonstrate leadership in respect to inclusivity and make public and visible statements that the Colac Otway Shire is a place where people are welcome, safe and supported regardless of gender, age, race, culture, religion, beliefs and socio-economic status. They also enable council to continue to comply with the Australian Government's federal flag protocols as they relate to ceremonial flags. If this sounds familiar, it is because it comes from your draft policy and it is obvious that Council has considered this action very carefully before asking for submissions. Can I ask you to think about this question? Is this debate going to be about a community flagpole, or is it going to be about whether minority groups will be recognised? Because let's face it, if a community is made up of many minority groups, and each and every one of them deserves to be recognised. One of the objects of the draft flag policy, and for what I've read in the submissions, both for and against, is on whether to fly the flags of the LGBTIQA+ community here in Colac. I'd like to remind you that we are talking about a community flagpole and therefore it should be used for the whole community. However, since the focus is firmly on this section of the community, then let me remind you of the importance that flying their flags would mean to them. I have advocated for many years for equality, especially in and around the Shire of Colac. I know how much seeing their flags flying would mean to these members of the Colac Otway community. These people have been ignored, humiliated, vilified, demeaned, and so many more negative adjectives for years on end. In fact, I believe that a lot of people in this Shire don't even think there are such people in the community. And if they are, then they are to be feared. Not so. These people are teachers, business people, farmers, blue-collar workers, executives, even in local government. They are sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, aunts and uncles. They are human beings. They deserve to be recognised and honoured. Again, I quote Human Rights Charter. Feeling safe and included within one's community is a human right and precondition to social justice. This report seeks to progress Council's leadership in this space via the adoption of a flag policy that focuses on enabling the flying of a range of other flags of significance. And let's consider the following quotes from the draft flagpole policy. Overarching governance principles, LGA 2020. This report aligns with the following governance principles in that it focuses on demonstrating leadership in creating a safe and inclusive community for people irrespective of Aboriginality, age, disability, ethnicity, gender identity, culture, race, religion, sexual orientation and other attributes. Seeks to be transparent with the community about Council's commitment to promoting inclusivity at a community level. Aligns with Council's adopted statement of commitment to gender equality. And also, it's healthy and inclusive objective, and this is from alignment to plans and strategies and the Council Plan 2021 to 25. Theme 3, healthy and inclusive community object. 1, all people have the opportunity to achieve and thrive in our Shire. Objective 3, we are a safe, equitable and inclusive community. So in conclusion, please remember that local government business is dealing with people, whether it's their roads, garbage collection, children's playgrounds, or nurturing the well-being of its community, minority groups and all. One last quote, the Colac Otway Shire Council recognises that the flying of flags demonstrates pride of place and spirit and acknowledges that the flying of flags should be undertaken with the utmost importance, respect and dignity. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Sharon. Next speaker, Jason, wish to speak?
Thank you, Mayor and councillors. I'll take it, my submission as read. There's a couple of points. I think the community flagpole should be a celebratory flagpole, and the 30 days or 31 days as the maximum, I think 7 days to fly a flag would certainly get that point across. Flying it for any longer than that may be seen as a political statement rather than a celebratory statement. I've got if there's no flag being flown at all, that maybe the Colac Otway Shire flag could be flown on those other days, or the Victorian state flag or something like that, but rather than just sit there idle. In respect to who chooses the flag, it's got the CEO has the right to do that under the draft policy. I feel that it should be done by the councillors. It does say in there if it's contentious that it would be put before council, but who decides whether it's contentious or not? And I think if it's like Volunteers Week and the SES, for example, would like to use it, I think they know in advance that it could come before a council meeting. It wouldn't be that hard to write that into the policy. I've got With the transgender pride flag on the November 20th, the Day of Remembrance, I don't have a problem with whatever flag council wants to fly, but I don't think it should be flown at half-mast. That particular, I think, day is a little bit of a political statement. It was started in America in 1999. Australia is a fantastic and great inclusive country of everyone from all walks of life. Not always perfect, of course, but I know, and I'd be naive to say that the number isn't higher, but officially that group that flies the transgender pride flag on Remembrance Day, on their official statistics, is only 2 people in Australia are on that list. And I think half-mast should be left as it's stated in the rest of the policy for dignitaries or Remembrance Day, Anzac Day, those sort of things. And the community flagpole should be left as a celebratory one. If they want to fly it on that particular day, I think no problem, but it just shouldn't be flown at half-mast in my opinion. And speaking to other people in the community, they share that. Like, where do you stop? We have thousands of people killed on our roads. Does the TAC fly it at half-mast? Domestic violence, murderers, suicides, mental health things. By all means, fly those flags on a particular day to highlight, celebrate, recognise, but not at half-mast. And that's the rest, was in the submission I take as read. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Rod and Peter. Rod and Peter. Just Rod? Peter's not here? Thank you.
Thank you. Glasses. Good afternoon, councillors. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. On behalf of Colac RSL, once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak on the draft flag policy. In principle, Colac RSL believes this initiative has the potential to enhance community engagement, awareness and inclusion. It also has the potential to instil pride in those participating, those organisations and groups across Colac Otway Shire. So it's therefore supported in principle. In relation to the policy itself, in general terms, we support the purpose, the scope, etc., the guidelines as stated, notwithstanding the comments made by Mr Schramm regards the half-mast issue. We concur with those views that flying flags at half-mast should be reserved for those national days of like Anzac Day and Remembrance Day, and of significant other national events that may occur, but not as a general rule. We particularly welcome the schedule, which shows Anzac Day and Remembrance Day as part of the schedule for the year, flying the flags. We did, however, suggest, as part of our written submission to Shire, that 5 business days prior to and including Anzac and Remembrance Day would be most appreciated. We do so to raise awareness and reinforce the community the importance of our statewide fundraising efforts to support veterans and their families through these statewide appeals. And it should be noted that every cent raised on those appeals goes to veterans and their families. None of that money goes to running the RSL. So it's particularly important to us. Welcome the opportunity to have the RSL flag flying to raise awareness to the community about those appeals, if that was possible. It's a worthy endeavour and meaningful benefit to the veteran community in Colac Otway Shire and beyond. Beyond that, by way of suggestion, the applications process is vague. There was no procedure included there in the in the documentation on how applications are made? Is it an email to inquiries? Are there guidelines attached with the applications? Of course there are in the background information, but I didn't see an application form. So I think that's something we need to think about. And that's about it from the RSL. Thank you very much again.
Thanks, Rod. Thank you to all the submitters. Do councillors have any questions of officers? Kate, Councillor Hanson.
Yeah, I've just got a couple of questions that all relate to the same thing and to a submission. How much did it cost to put up the 4th flagpole?
Yeah, I'm happy to respond to that through the chair. Thanks, Councillor Hanson. As part of the 2023-24 budget, which was exhibited and then adopted, Council included 2 flag-related projects. One was to install the new flag, the community flagpole we're calling it, that this policy directly relates to. The budget allocations included an estimated cost of the construction, project management and contingency. We hadn't quite confirmed where it would be. $6,000 was allocated and the actual cost was $2,895, and the project was reported closed in the March agenda, recognising that it was well under budget, which is always nice to be able to do. The second flag-related project, which this policy will also apply to these flags, are the ceremonial flags, the 3 existing flagpoles at the front door to our Ray Street office. The objective was to have those flags, particularly the Australian flag, permanently lit, because we had feedback from the community that the Australian flag in particular, should be flown on public holidays and weekends at half-mast when that was expected to be done. The most effective way to do that is to have them lit. We had an allocation in the budget, the council supported $13,000. We were expecting to have to do uplighting from the ground, run cables for power supply, etc. We managed to do a roof-mounted or building-mounted lighting project, so we didn't have all of that set-up cost, and it was actually also delivered well under budget, $2,360, and returned $10,640 again through that March meeting for council to be able to reallocate to other things. So short answer, $2,895 for the pole, $2,360 for the lighting, well under the budgets that were allocated because we have much simpler delivery.
And just from my understanding, the lighting then helps that we don't have to take the flags up and down.
That's right. With permanent lighting, the Australian flag, which is the one that we're really focused on complying with the protocols, can fly 24 hours, 7 days a week. If we get notice that something is to be flown at half-mast, for, say, a Saturday, we do that as officers Friday night before we go home, and then it can be flown continuously through the night into the day. We fly those flags 24 hours a day now.
And the last question relating to this is a submission. If a group wants a flag flown, do they supply the flag, or are we paying for the flag? And there was a suggestion that a flag could cost $1,000.
So the intention will be that that council has a supply of flags for those that are endorsed in the policy as flying every single year. And because they'll only be used now and then, I'm sure they'll have a good life. But that people requesting to fly the flag for particular celebrations or recognitions, that they would be providing that flag. How much the flag costs depends a lot on, the quality of the flag, how common it is, all of those things. So some are $200-300, some are $1,000. It depends.
Thank you, Anne. Any other questions? No other questions. Thank you. Councillors, the officers have provided a recommendation with the report for our consideration. Does any councillor wish to move a motion in relation to the matter? Councillor Hart. Seconded.
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you. To be seconded. Councillor Potter, is it to be opposed? Not to be opposed. Councillor Hart.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to thank the people that put in written submissions, and also those who put in written submissions and came along today to give their verbal comments. Just to clarify the process, what we're doing here is acknowledging those submissions. It will actually be at a council meeting that we consider the draft flag policy, having regard to both the written and verbal submissions. So thanks again for coming along today and speaking to your submissions.
Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. Councillor Hart said what I was going to say, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Finnegan.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I'll just add on to what the other councillors have said and thank those who've made their submissions today. And I should also point out that just the titles of the people who have made submissions today. Mr. Amos is the Secretary of the Colac sub-branch of the RSL. Mr. Schramm is a former Mayor of Colac Otway Shire, and Ms. Faulkner is a former Mayor of the City of Colac. So I just wanted to tease that out as well and thank them very much for their submissions and their interest in our community.
Thank you, Councillor Finnegan. Any other councillor wish to speak? No other councillor wishes to speak. Councillors, I'll now call for a vote. Oh, sorry, no. No, he hasn't got a hand up. No. No. Thank you. I'll call for a vote. All those in favour? Councillor, yep, thank you. Carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. That concludes the Submissions Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire, and I declare this meeting closed. At 4:30.
Catch you later, everyone. Thank you.